Yo, welcome back to another video. My name is Barba223, and if you are familiar with my channel, I do a lot of ESO content, and if you're not, well, I do a lot of ESO content. Today we are back with a hybrid stamina Warden, and I'm going to go over skills, I'm going to go over gear, I'm going to go over character, and I'm going to go over CP. So yeah, as always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and let's just get into it. So, character screen. Alright, so I'm going to tell you guys right now, when we get to the gear and all that, some of it is interchangeable, so don't be too stressed. Let me just buff up. So, let's see. So, on the front bar, we're chilling at 17,000 magic, 36,000 health, 22,000 stam, almost 5,000 spell and weapon damage, 23% crit, and 5,400 pen before a major or minor breach. And then we have 28 and 26 resistance on the front bar with 1,100 and 1,300 recovery, which gets higher when you use pods. I mean, I just use a potion. It's at 16 plus our Betty gives us more than that. So that's pretty solid, to be honest. So yeah, it's pretty good. On the back bar, we have a lot more resistance, I'll tell you that. So we have an obscene amount of resistance on the back bar, so we are at the cap, diminishing returns at that point. So that is the character screen. We are using Jewels and Misrule as food. I'm using the Tower Mundus, which you can change, feel free, and we're using Stage 3 Vampirism. So, the gear, let's get into the gear. So on the front bar, we are using the Master Dual Wield. Is anyone really surprised? Not really. I mean, the reality is, Master Dual Wield is incredible. There is another option for this build I'm going to give you if you do not have the Master Dual Wield or you don't want to use the Master Dual Wield. I'll show you at the end of the gear. So we have a mace and we have a sword. I've ran Dragonstar Arena a million times, and the best I came up with was a mace and a sword. I've gotten daggers and I've gotten a mace and a sword, and that's what I have. I think maces with sharpen is probably the best overall, but this is what I got. So I have on my main hand, I have a Nirnhone mace, and then I have a sharpened sword. The glyphs here are actually kind of important. So we are using a poison glyph and a disease glyph. Now, poison glyph is going to apply the proc of our set a lot more often because it's a dot. And then the disease is going to apply Defile to everyone in an area, which is actually really, really good. Twin Slashes deals, if you don't know what this does, Twin Slashes deals 1,000 more damage for each hit of the initial attack and the bleed. So it does a lot of damage. You're adding in a ridiculous amount of damage. It's pretty much essentially doubling the damage it does with a dot. So a lot of damage. On the back bar, we're using Restoration of a Daedric Trickery. So we're using Berserker Glyph always. You can use either Defending, which I have on now. Defending is going to give a ridiculous amount of resistances, or if you don't want to use Defending, you can use Powered. Powered is going to give a ridiculous amount of healing. We were under 30k resist, so I kind of opted to go and use the Defending one, but I've tried both, and they both work. So feel free to use whatever, but use a Berserker Glyph. If you know what Daedric Trickery does, I've seen people hate on this set. Guys, I can't say no to it. It's literally so good. I don't know why some of you hate on it, and I get it. I get it. It's not for you. But for me, this is my bread and butter. This is my ish right here. This is my thing. All right, so it gives health, stam, magic. And when you deal damage, you gain 1 of 5 major random buffs for 21 seconds every 9 seconds. You can get Expedition, which is movement speed, Protection, which is damage mitigation, Mending, which is healing, Heroism, which is alt regen, and Vitality, which is healing received. So this set really, really shines when you get like Mending or Vitality together and you get crazy healing, or you get Protection, or you get Heroism and Vitality. Like, it just get some crazy buffs. Really, any combination of the two buffs is insanely good. So that is the 5-piece we're running. If you don't like Daedric Trickery, you could use something like Clever Alchemist. It's up to you. So we are using a set that one of my viewers recommended. Shout out to my guy that recommended it. Comment on the video when you see it, bro, because I know you will. We're using Gerald Mountain's Warchief Visage. So Gerald Mountains is a set that anyone can buy right in Cyrodiil at the Elite Gear Vendor. So we have a heavy helm and we have a heavy shoulder. Ideally, you want impen or reinforced. Dude, I opened so many of those crates and I just couldn't get reinforced. So I was like, screw it, I'm done. So I just took the sturdy. Sturdy's not the worst. And I got well fitted on the other. So we could squeeze out a little bit more armor if you really go for it with your AP. But what does Gerald Mountains do? You get weapon and spell damage, and then when you deal damage, you apply a stack of Melody to your enemy, reducing healing received by 1% for 5 seconds up to 35 stacks. This can happen once every 0.5 seconds. So essentially you can reduce the enemy's healing by 35%. There's no cooldown. You can literally just deal damage and reduce their healing done. It's kind of insane. And this stacks with the disease, so you're getting 35% plus the disease. I think got nerfed to what, 8%? Or 6%. So you're reducing their healing by over 40%. And then when you do the damage, there is a drawback to it because that's broken. You apply your own stack of contagion, reducing your healing received by 1% for 5 seconds, up to 15 stacks. You can apply one every 1 second. So you think, Barba, you reduce their healing, but you reduce yours. That's not good. It is good, okay? Because you're reducing the enemy's healing by 35%. You're only reducing your own by 15. Okay, so you're getting a 20% swing, which is really, really good. And then if you're using the powered resto staff, you're getting another 18%. So you're getting a 15 or a 20% swing plus another 15. You're getting a 35% swing in healing, which is really, 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 really good. It's a lot of healing reduced. Also, you can apply it to multiple targets at once if you do AoE damage. And the stacks go up really quick on this build because we use a lot of dot damage. So any tick of anything is going to apply it, which is very, very, very good. So honestly, this set could be used on a magic build, which I probably will do at some point. I have a lot of testing going on in my brain about what I'm going to use this on, but it's insanely good. A lot of healing reduced on everybody. The stacks are so easy to get. Insanely good set here. And you can offset this just by being a Warden, kind of, because Warden does get a lot of passive healing. So the 15% that you get is really, really good. So on the body, we are using Heartland Conqueror. Now, Heartland Conqueror is a set that you have to wear on both bars to get the full value out of, because it doubles your trait, and you have to have it up on both bars to get the trait. But that's okay, because this set is an OG set for me, and it's near and dear to my heart. It's one of my favorite sets in the game. It always will be. I have a Triglyph, I have Impen, and I have weapon damage for a 2-piece, magic for the 3, stand for the 4, and then increase the effectiveness of your weapon traits by 100%. So, up to my weapons. If you're using dual wield, you get half the value of a two-handed weapon, but when you use Heartland Conqueror, you get double the value out of it. So we're essentially running two-handed weapons on the front. So we get the double Nirnhone and we get the double pen. So we get an extra 200 and something spell and weapon damage, and then we get a double the pen. So we get the pen of using a frost staff, and then we get the Nirnhone of using another weapon. So you get insane value when you use dual wield on this build, which is very, very, very good. Heartland Conqueror really shines on dual wield or like one-handed shield or something like that. Insanely good. So Heartland is good. It also buffs our Backbar. So as you can see, we have 18% healing done, which is an obscene amount of healing done. I mean, that's crazy. Or you can get a ridiculous amount of resistance with 6,500. So very good. So we're using it on... we're using a couple pieces of heavy and 2 medium. So we don't have any light, unfortunately. I made the mistake of not getting a light piece crafted. So what you would really want to do is have a light waist to make this really work and get the full value. Alright, so do a mixture of Impen, reinforce, whatever you feel necessary. Just make sure you go heavy on the legs, the feet, and the chest. After that, it's up to your discretion. On the jewelry, we have a necklace of Daedra Trickery. Yes, it's blue, but yes, Daedra Trickery jewelry is expensive because it's crafted. So blue jewelry is okay. We have Swift, and then we have Infused, and then we have a Heartland Conqueror ring. Again, I apologize for the blue jewelry. I'm using double crafted sets. Dude, they're freaking expensive. I don't feel like dealing with it. I would transmute this too if you want. Ideally, you get all of these Bloodthirsty, but I got what I could get. It works for me right now. It is what it is. Alright, so on the skills, we're using Camo Hunter. Okay, so you get passive weapon damage from having it slotted with the Fighters Guild. You get Spell Crit, which is really, really nice. You also gain Minor Berserk for 4 seconds after dealing flank damage. So keep in mind, if you are going to use this, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to want to morph. You're going to want to morph Bird of Prey. Or you're going to want to change the morph to the evasion version. Okay, because this is going to give you passive Minor Berserk, but if you have Camo Hunter, you get the Minor Berserk from a different source, and then you could use Evasion, which is going to lower the damage you take by a lot. So that is something to note. But again, if you don't want to use Camo Hunter, you can just go in here and put on Lotus Blossom to get some extra healing. But Camo Hunter is nice because you can get an evasion out of it as well by changing bird of prey. So here we're using Deep Fissure. Okay, Deep Fissure is our bread and butter skill. We all know how this one works. It's the best skill in the Warden's kit. It does a crap ton of damage, and you apply major and minor breach. Here we have bird of prey. Like I said, you can use this or Falcon Swiftness, I believe is the other morph. Here we have Cutting Dive. Now, why am I using Cutting Dive over Whirlwind? There's an obvious reason. Whirlwind's a finisher and it does AoE. Sweet. All right, but you want to get the stacks of your monster set as quick as possible with your to get the healing debuff. So Cutting Dive not only is range for people that are running away, which is really nice on Warden because I'm a melee build, but you're also causing a bleed, and you also set people off balance, which is giving you access to a hard CC. Now, how does that work? If you're chasing somebody down, you hit them with this, it'll set them off balance, it'll apply a bleed. Every single tick of that bleed applies your Jarrow War Mountains. And then when you get to them, off-balancing people means you can stun them afterwards, and they're going to take extra damage from you. All right, so when you off-balance someone, let's say I just off-balance someone, all you have to do is charge up a heavy attack, even the slightest bit. That right there will stun someone, the tiniest little bit. All right, no need to hold it all the way like this. All right, just hold it heavy. That counts. Okay, so that'll stun them after you off-balance them. Here we're using Rending Slashes for your bread and butter spammable. It is going to do a lot of damage. All right, so it does 1,000 on each swipe. So you're doing 4,000 on each swipe, which is 8k. And then you're doing a crap ton of bleed damage. And then on top of it, you're applying hemorrhaging. So you have the initial hit, then you have the hemorrhage, then you have the bleed, and on top of it, the best part is you have a slow, meaning people are not getting away. So all these two dots together, you're hitting with 1 dot, 2 dot, 3 dots, like you're doing a lot of dot damage. And then last but certainly not least, you have Dawnbreaker of Smiting. Okay, so you can either use Dawnbreaker and use it as your hard CC to line up your burst, or you just go Giga Chad and use or what is this called? My brain's not working. Northern Storm. All right, for an insanely good Frost ultimate that does 6,600 a tick around you, reduces their movement speed, and you gain weapon and spell damage, and you apply major protection. Very, very good. This is up pretty quick because you have major evasion, or not major evasion, major heroism on this build with Daedric Trickery and your Crystal Shield. So Northern Storm's good, Dawnbreaker's good, up to you. Backbar, we're using Ice Fortress. Ice Fortress is incredible, must-have skill. Vigor is for our big heal over time and our minor resolve. Here we're using Polar Wind for the big boy heals. For you and your teammates, and then you're using Shimmering Shield. You can use the other version if you want, which is Crystal Slab. This one's cheaper. It absorbs less damage, but it gives you major heroism. Yes, you have major heroism on Trickery, but why not guarantee the major heroism with this and then get other buffs from your Trickery? Very good. Here we're using the Betting or the Bull Netch for Stam Recovery, our Brutality, and a Cleanse. And then last but not least, we're using Life Giver. Guys, do yourself a favor. Don't use Secluded Grove. It sucks. Use Life Giver. It's way better. That is the skills. Okay, now if you want, again, you can swap in Whirlwind. That is up to you. All right, so if you want to change any of the gear, feel free. I'll show you how. I don't have it on me, but what you would want to do is you want to run Way of the Fire. A very, very good damage set. Very meta. People run on the front bar a lot. You want to do front bar of that, and then you can use Way of the Fire on the body, and then you could use a mixture of Daedric Trickery on the back bar. Okay, so Daedric Trickery would go back bar, Way of the Fire front bar. Then you could use Jarrow, Mountain War Chief. You'd use one piece of Trainee, and then last you want to use a mythic. You could use any mythic you want in the game: Sea Serpent, Markin's Ring of Majesty, Death Dealer's Feet. These are all great options. Totally up to you, but for me, I tested both. Okay, before you ask the question, I like this version better, so this is my suggestion. But you can use Way of the Fire instead if you want to not use the Master Staff. So the champion point is last but not least, so you can change these. I am not a professional when it comes to CP. I'm not even going to cap. All right, I try my best, but I don't know. I can't. I don't know what is considered quote-unquote the best, but Master at Arms, Deadly Aim, Wrathful Strikes, and Backstabber is what I'm running. And then Bastion, Pain's Refuge, Fortified, and Health. So, that is what we're running. I hope you enjoyed the build. As always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you think down below, whether you think it's good, bad, or it sucks. I don't care. Peace.